Hello and welcome to the show. This is still one of the villa recordings, just in case there are any interruptions while I am on the mic. Continuing from where we left off yesterday, we're still looking at educational ideas. Ideas for educational content that beauty and skincare entrepreneurs can put up on Instagram, podcasts, and YouTube. And I think we are done with Instagram and with podcasts. So now I'll try my best to make a brief episode on YouTube. And today is going to be the last of these content based ideas because I've noticed that over the last couple of episodes, let's say five or six, because we're looking into content heavy specific ideas, we have sort of moved away from the leanings of this podcast, which is supposed to be personal selling related, basically one-on-one communications that we can use to get the business moving forward. But the whole point of this series was just to show that creating content, especially if you're going to be using educational content, shouldn't be a very hard thing, because lots of people think it's too hard, and that's the reason why they jump on trends, and they think that hopping on trends and what else? Entertaining content is going to be an easier way to grow the business. So I believe, excuse me, that for most businesses anyway, taking the educational content route, I think, would be an easier option because you're going to be able to sustain it for months and years rather than chasing trends. And of course, trends have their lifeline in terms of sorry, excuse me, in terms of days or weeks, maybe at most hours. Oh, sorry, no, the other way around. In terms of entertaining content and trends, basically, they last days, weeks, some last minutes, and anyway, you get the idea. If you're going to be chasing entertaining content, you those sorts of things don't have a huge lifespan to it. Anyway, so let's get straight into today. So YouTube, and again, we are talking to beauty and skincare entrepreneurs and okay, yeah, so things that these also people should consider, and remember that this advice applies to everyone else, even if you're a wedding photographer or you sell chickens or you have a yam and you sell farms. Sorry, you have a farm and you sell yams. So this business advice applies to everyone. So even though I'm talking to people in the beauty and skincare space, take the advice, see how it applies to your own particular context, and you'll be just fine. So, things to consider before we hop on YouTube. Well, first off, you have to understand your audience. You need to have some insight into the things that your audience prefers, the challenges that they face, the interests that these people have. And in this case, since we're talking about beauty and skincare entrepreneurs who are trying to reach mothers in Abuja and Lagos and who have children between the ages of newborn and childcare, sorry, between the ages of newborn and 12, then we ought to consider what those kinds of people might be interested in the cultural nuances of Abuja and Lagos, versus places like Washington D.C. and maybe London, and specific skincare concerns that they might have, because it's arguable that mothers, with kids in Lagos, for instance, or in the southern part of Nigeria, might have concerns about but there's this thing people used to call it, I think they used to call it lakba lakba when we were kids. And I guess mothers in Russia or mothers in America don't have those concerns. And then other lifestyle factors that resonate with your target audience. So you need to understand your audience, and that will inform the kind of content that you make. Now, if you have a very good sales process that has feedback built into it because you're having live conversation with these people on a daily and a weekly basis, then understanding your audience is not going to be a problem because you already know what these people are on about. So, if you're about to start the business, your beauty or skincare business, and you don't have any clients so far, then you might have to do some research. But for those of you who have a substantive business already running, customers you already talk to, phone numbers you already have that you can call, people that you can already chat with, then this part of the problem, this part of the process is a lot easier. Understanding your audience. Then you also should be able to research trending topics, so you're updated on things that people are talking about in the beauty and in the skincare space, and you should tailor the content to address those sorts of things. Then most people in this space would say that authenticity is key. I'm one of those people who differs. I don't think people need to know who you are authentically in your business. I think rather you should be focusing on content that is relevant to your audience, and then the authentic you is going to come through. So, my focus every day when I come here is not to show how authentic I am. I'm just talking about business content that I think can move the needle for everyone's business, and then excuse me, then different aspects of my personality or whatever that you guys seem to like will just come through on its own. So I don't have to decide from the get that I'm trying to project a layer of authenticity. All I have to do is just focus on what content is relevant, and then the rest of it will shine through. So if you're one of those authenticity people, then yeah, sure, no problem. Try and be as authentic as you would like. But if you don't agree with the whole authenticity thing and you're on my own side of the camp, then just worry about producing content that is relevant and genuine to the needs of the people that you're talking to. Then the authenticity is the authenticity is going to shine through. Now, of course, since they're going to be we're looking at beauty and skincare space, then there's certain compliance with industry regulations that these people have to meet, people who are involved in these sorts of things. So there's safety standards and legal requirements. You can't say anything that NAFDAC is going to frown at. The NAFDAC is the Nigerian, gosh, anyway, they're the regulatory agency that has to do with food, drugs, medicines, those sorts of things. So if you're producing content, of course, you have to know what the advertising guidelines are, industry best practices, communication. Sorry, not communications. What's the word? Keeping in touch with what all the regulations are, because you can't say anything that runs foul of legal standards. For instance, for children's products that have what's it called? Is it iron? No, not iron. Lead. Okay, yeah. So so nowadays, in 2023 and beyond, we know that any product that has lead, children's product that has lead in it, is not recommended. So if you are going on your YouTube page talking about the wonderful benefits of putting lead in children's skin care products and stuff like that, then you're going to quickly run into trouble. Medical doctors complaining that what you're doing is running foul of health best practices, and who knows, one or two people might complain to advertising regulators or complain to the police or whatever, and then before you know it, you're in hot water over something that you put up on your YouTube. So let's make sure that we're complying with all the regulations in this space. Then, okay, there's also the concern that you should be making sure that the things you put out have good quality and visual appeal. So, since we're talking about YouTube, then lighting is important, background is important, things like that. In my own opinion, you don't need to waste a ton of money in these sorts of things. I know a guy who's getting ready to start producing content, and he has already invested 2.3 million naira in getting camera equipment and lighting and things like that. I really don't think you need to spend that much to get decent stuff. A lot of us have high-end phones or phones with high-end specs. Like I use okay, well, most people know it as the Redmi. So the Redmi 13C, and I see a bunch of folks out there with Samsungs and iPhones and things like that, and the video quality is quite good. So if you just sit in front of your window in your bedroom, assuming that the background is good enough, it's clear, there's no clutter, and you open up the windows, so you're being lit by even lighting from the front of the window, not in a harsh sunlight, your videos will be decent. But if you must spend any money, starting off with ring lighting, the one that makeup professionals use, starting with that, and then as you understand your craft and your audience, then changing your lighting setup and things like that as time goes on. I think that'll be a much more practical way to go about it, rather than spending 2 million naira in getting lighting equipment or recording equipment. So yeah, visual appeal, but you can solve all of that by just using the high-end phone that you already have, and then maybe just tidy up the background, open up the window, and take it from there. In my own opinion, I would say scripting is the most important part of this process. Scripting is the idea of what am I going to talk about? What are the themes I'm going to talk about? How am I going to move from step A to step B? Those sorts of things. I would say that for video content, scripting is more important than all the other stuff. Because if you're going to do an audio podcast like I do and you wander off point, people forgive you. But for some reason, if you wander off point on the video podcast, it's insufferable. It's unbearable. People are like, this guy is just going all over the place, or this girl is just talking off point, and then they'll skip your video. So scripting, in my own opinion, more important than visual appeal and quality. But that's just my own opinion. Then we should always engage with our viewers. For those of you who want to be on YouTube, um, so engage with the viewers through comments, likes, shares, respond to questions, those sorts of things. You're also going to get good ideas for the kind of YouTube video that you should put next. Because if you put up a YouTube video where you talk about, let's say, lead in children's skincare products, and then you have 500 comments there talking about how what you're doing is dangerous to kids and blah 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 and all whatnot. If you have compelling research that shows to the contrary, well, and by the way, I don't think there's any compelling research that shows to the contrary that you can put lead in children's products. But I'm just playing devil's advocate here. So if you have compelling research, then now you know that your compelling research might be the next series of videos that you're going to put up to educate people on those sorts of things. But then again, if you look into it, you find out there's no compelling research to say to the contrary, and you realize the error of your ways. It might not be a bad idea to put up a series of videos backtracking and taking back stuff that you've said and stating the official position. So either way, you're going to find that your content is going to gain lots of engagement and resonance with the people that you're putting up content for if you are engaging with the comments that they put on your videos. And then consistency. Remember, we have to be consistent. Pick a schedule and stick to it. If it's every Monday, then it's every Monday. Don't do 3 Mondays in a row and then stop for 6 Mondays and then start again for 2 more Mondays and then stop for 1 Monday. No. If it's every Monday, it's every Monday. If you're not doing these things consistently, if you're doing this whole one step forward, two step backwards thing, you're just hurting yourself. And sometimes I think rather than doing things half-heartedly, perhaps you're better off maybe not even starting in the first place. I know that that's an extreme thing to say, but we have to be consistent. Pick a cadence that works for you, and that's the reason why I put up the content the way that I put it, using the mobile phone, keeping things flexible and informal, and not paying too much attention to high production value. So that way, if I'm on the road, I can record a podcast. If I'm in the village, like I am now, I can record a podcast. When I'm back in Abuja, I can record a podcast. If I travel to the UK, like I did last year to see my brother and his family, I can record a podcast. I can record at the airport. I can record in the market. I can record everywhere. So for me, that's how I solve the consistency problem. You don't have to take my own approach, but just find a way. Do you make sure you are consistent? If it's every Monday, it's every Monday. If it's every Sunday, it's every Sunday. Then optimizing video titles and descriptions, that's really important. So you're thinking about relevant keywords just to make sure that you are discoverable on YouTube so that when people search how to do such and such for 3-year-old skin, your own YouTube, there's a chance that your YouTube video will come up. And then, of course, put links and resources in the what's it called? There's a part where you get to write about what your video is. So put additional resources, put helpful links there so that people can refer to them after they watch your video. That's another way of you becoming a valuable resource. Then it's not a bad idea to also collaborate with other influencers on YouTube. You can look for local influencers and experts. Okay, so now I'm in Makudi at the moment, and I know of a an influencer in this space. She started off in the catering space. I can't remember what it is that she does now, but what I'm trying to say basically is that whichever community you find yourself, rural, urban, small town, there are influencers and experts that you can partner with for your YouTube content. Now, the advantage of that is it broadens the audience that you get and also brings some credibility. So I'm coming in from Abuja. I have my own audience. I hook up with the lady over here. She has her own audience. Let's say I have 2,000 followers. She has 5,000 followers. Then we put out content. We are potentially we have a potential audience of 7,000 rather than her sticking to her five and me sticking to my two. So that's the whole idea. Then, let's see what else. Okay, of course, in the previous episode, I spoke about how you should use social media to promote your content. So you should be promoting your YouTube content, share behind the scenes, things like that, updates on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter to try and drive traffic to your YouTube video. Of course, encourage people to subscribe. What else? So they can get notifications. Encourage them to like and share. YouTube has analytics that gives you viewer demographics. You know, which kind of people are watching your videos, where are they from? Is it Nigeria? Is it from Korea? Is it from whatever? Watch time, how long did they watch? Engagement metrics, how many people liked? How many people? Okay, no, there's no dislike. How many people liked? Does YouTube have a dislike? I think so. I think YouTube has a thumbs down at the moment. So how many people thumbs up? How many people thumbed down? Things like that. So take advantage of all these analytics that you get in the YouTube app. It's going to help you to refine the content strategy and then meet your audience expectations. So needless to say, if you're putting up stuff, people are watching a quarter of the time, and you're getting millions of down likes, then perhaps it's a cue that you need to tweak the content that the kind of content that you're putting out. So these are the sorts of things that we have to think about before we begin our YouTube journey. Now, these are some specific ideas that people can try out in the beauty and skincare space, assuming that we're going to be putting out one video a week on YouTube. And then, of course, this part of the episode ties back to the episode I made about the content calendar and the content matrix and things like that. So these are also the sorts of ideas that can tie into your content calendar, your matrix, your content plan, whatever it is. If this is your first time listening to the show and you are interested in finding out what a content calendar is, or a content matrix, or a content plan, or a content schedule, people call it different names. So once you're done listening to this, skip back a couple of episodes, pay attention to the title of the podcast episodes, and then you'll get caught up to speed there. So, yeah, so for week one, on Monday, you can film the episode of skincare routines for busy moms. There, you'll be talking through a step by step, quick and effective skincare routine for busy mothers, because there are folks who, like my wife, who have to wake up in the morning, early in the morning, sort stuff out, dash off to the office. So, people like that perhaps don't have times for elaborate 2 hour skincare routines. So you could put up videos for those sorts of folks, putting up products, ideas, tips, and tricks that are easy to use and provide a fresh, radiant look, even though they have a hectic schedule. Then you can also, maybe the week after that, week two, you can come up with natural DIY face masks for moms. Some people already put stuff out there about how you can take cucumbers and blend it with something, mix with this, and put it on your skin for, I don't know, minutes or hours or whatever. And then you wake up the next day and your skin is as fresh as a baby's bum. So you can put up those sort of things. Easy to make recipes using natural ingredients that are found in Nigerian households, and basically just give moms idea about how they can pamper themselves. Then the week after that, week three, you can come up with another video, morning and night skincare habits for moms. Simple things that they can do for different skin types, different ages, can do before going to bed to make sure that you wake up the next day and you have wonderful, radiant skin. Then for week four, you can put out one video on postpartum skincare tips. Postpartum, that's specifically for mothers who have given birth. Because when we started off the whole content calendar thing, I mentioned that for some people, they have challenges, So before pregnancy, your skin was one way. During pregnancy, your skin was one way. After pregnancy, the skin's up being another way. So it's not uncommon for someone to start off with uh, dry skin, only to have excessively moist skin during pregnancy, and then after pregnancy to have a mixture of different kinds of skin wherever. So doing a video in week four for those sorts of people might not be a bad idea. Then, sorry, excuse me, I still have the cold. Then week five, you can do ideas around safe and gentle skincare for kids. That's really, really important because, right now we're back in a homestead. My own kids running all over the place, grass, insects, sand. Uh, what else? Okay, we have a little um, pond. Okay, well, calling it a pond would be too tush. Well, anyway, you get the whole point. We have still bodies of water here and there, and the children are just running all over the place. So you can make a video for those sorts of people, skincare routine for kids. Those of you who are city dwellers, do this to take care of your children's skin. Those of you who are going to be going to the rural areas for the Christmas, this is what you can do, blah, blah, blah. That's a good video for week 5. Week 6, another video, healthy habits for glowing skin. You can talk about lifestyle tips that can help with radiant skin. You can talk about hydration, nutrition, things you should eat, how much water should you drink, stress management, self care, stuff like that. Then, week 7, you can do one video for affordable beauty hacks for moms. And of course, you'll be talking about budget friendly beauty hacks and tips. I have to stress this budget friendly thing. Well, anyway, it depends on which market you're talking to, because some people will talk about Himalayan sea salts and stuff like that. And I remember when I was looking for last time I was looking for salt to buy. That was last week while my wife was cooking. I couldn't find the regular salt, so I figured let me pick one of those fancy stuff, the Himalayan, blah blah blah, pink, all those things. And then it turns out that a pack of one of those is 4,000 naira, and I had no idea that things were that expensive. So except if you're catering to a high-end audience, these are the things you need to pay attention to. You're looking for things that people can find that fit easily into their routine and fit easily into their budgets. Because if you're going to put out something that requires people to use Himalayan sea salts, and a pack of that is 4,000 naira, well, there are some people who 4,000 naira every week on their face, not a problem. But there's some other people who say 4,000 naira every week on my face. No, I'm not doing that. So, yeah, know which market that you're reaching out to and make content accordingly. Let's see what else. Okay, I have too many ideas here, so let me just bring it to a close. Let's see. Okay, so week 8, you can do local Nigerian ingredients for skincare, things that are locally sourced and easy to find. Week 9, you can interview a local dermatologist or an expert to discuss common topics like hormonal changes, aging, how to address specific skincare issues. Week 10, you can do a video on Mommy and Me Skincare Day. So that'll be fun bonding activities where mom and their kids can work together to improve their skincare routine. Maybe you can make a video about how if mommies and kids go swimming together in swimming pools that don't have chlorine, it might improve their skin or whatever. Anyway, I just made that up. I'm not a skincare person. So those of you who are skincare professionals, whether swimming in chlorine or swimming in water that has another kind of cleanser, which one is a good idea or a bad idea. Because I think people say that chlorine dries out the skin, even though it's the best for killing germs. But anyway, for those of you who are specialists, you can think about that. Mini home spa days for mom and the kids. I only have boys, but they enjoy that sort of thing. My wife bought a skincare mask one day. She was putting it on. They wanted to do that as well, and so they had fun rubbing goo all over their faces. So that might be a fun way to improve your skin and improve the skin of your kids as well, making things an enjoyable experience for mom and for the kids. Now, these are not ideas that I'm saying you should do if you're in the beauty or skincare space. I'm just trying to show you how you can sit down and in 20 minutes you can brainstorm and come up with stuff. Right now, we've done about 25 minutes so far and we've come up with 10 video ideas that we can execute. So, if you're in the beauty and skincare space and you want to come up with a content calendar, you can see how we can come up with 10 ideas. Okay, 10, that's one video a week. That's 2.5 months. So you can see how in 30 minutes you can come up with ideas for 2.5 months of wonderful video ideas. And in fact, some of these video ideas can even be split into 2 episodes, like the Mommy and Me Skincare Day. That can be 2 episodes. We can have one episode purely about swimming and outdoor activities, another episode purely around things that you can do inside the house, like face masks and blending carrots and cucumbers or whatever and rubbing it all over your body and making it fun for you and the kids. So these are easy ways that you can just come up with ideas. And the whole point of this series that I put out so far has been to inspire people in the beauty and in the skincare space to see that it's not that hard. You can sit down, come up with a bunch of workable activities. If brainstorming is not easy for you, use Bard, use Google, use ChatGPT. You can come up with these ideas, and then talking with your business partner, your spouse, maybe even your kids, you can start fleshing out these ideas one at a time. And you take this approach, you will never, and I repeat, you will never run out of content ideas for your YouTube. People keep asking me, you've done 740 episodes. How come you're not tired? When are you going to run out of ideas? I'm not going to run out of ideas because this is the approach that I take. Oh, okay, 30 minutes. Let me bring things to a close. So, this is the approach that I take to producing my content. And if I keep doing this, there's no way on earth that I will ever run out of ideas because I come up with some ideas and people interact with the content, and I'm like, oh, I missed this. I didn't explain this. That's another idea for a follow up episode. I respond to questions. People ask me questions, they become the basis for another podcast. And really, there's no way that I could run out of ideas. But then think, if I wanted to promote my business, doing trends, doing challenges, dancing, twerking, all the other stuff, think about it. I mean, a twerk is a twerk. How many different kinds of twerks or twerking can I do? A trend is a trend. How many different kinds of trends can I hop on? And then, of course, there are some limitations that just go with the game. For instance, I'm an almost middle-aged guy who is 6 feet tall and 128, 130 kilograms. So there's a limit to how many of these trends I can take advantage of without making an absolute fool of myself. So I really think educational content better, much more sustainable over the long term, and an easier way to get start engaging in business conversations. So if I'm dancing and pointing, how am I going to be able to leverage that into business conversations so that people can um, book me to be their sales coach or their business consultant? So these are some of the stuff that I would like you guys to think about. And if you think it makes sense, yeah, share with someone else. If you've been having arguments in your community about these sorts of things, educational content, entertaining content, what should we use to promote our business? So it's been over 30 minutes, so let me bring it to to a close. So that's all for today, folks. Remember to connect with me on WhatsApp. The number is 080-6466-2140. The country code is +234. Also connect with me on LinkedIn. The name is Tavishima Ayede. You can confirm the name, the spelling, or the email address where you're currently listening to this episode. If it's on the website, my name, spelling, and email address will be on the web page. Or if it's on the podcast app, then my photo, spelling of my name, email address, it's on the profile of the app. So thanks for your time and attention. I'll catch you guys at the next episode. And we have come to a close on educational content ideas that people in the beauty and skin care skincare space can use to promote their products and their services. If you're not in that space, let's say you're a lawyer or a medical doctor, the approach is the same. Take these principles and see how it applies to your business. So I'll catch you guys at the next episode.